On the island of Salamis, inside a packed Athenian assembly, a counselor named Lycidas rises to speak. He lifts his hand and calmly suggests something unthinkable, that Greece should consider the Persian peace offer. No one boos. No one argues. Instead, the counselors close in. They stone him to death right there on the assembly floor. And the violence doesn't stop there. The women of Athens drag his wife and children into the street and stone them too. This isn't fiction. This isn't cinematic exaggeration. This is Greece in 479 BC. Diplomacy was dead. The Greeks were traumatized, displaced, and furious. The 300 Spartans were gone. Athens was ash. Only one language remained: violence. That ruthless mindset sets the stage for what comes next: the Battle of Plataea. This is the moment the Greeks stopped being hunted and became the hunters. Intrigued by history's darker chapters? Subscribe and comment. Where you're watching from, let's explore the past together. The murder of Lycidas tells us one thing clearly: the Greeks were desperate. King Xerxes had withdrawn, but danger remained. His general, Mardonius, lingered, far more lethal than the king himself. Mardonius wasn't sightseeing. He was a predator. Roughly 300,000 of Persia's deadliest troops held Greece at knife point. To prove his dominance, he burned Athens again. The message was simple: I'm still here. The Athenians, now refugees, snapped. They sent envoys to Sparta, not begging, but threatening. March now, or our fleet joins Persia, and then your walls won't save you. They warned. That was the shock Sparta needed. And when Sparta moves, it moves hard. In a single night, the ephors issued a mobilization order that emptied the city. 5,000 Spartiates armed themselves. For every Spartan, 7 Helot slaves marched beside him. That's 35,000 Helots, 5,000 Spartiates, and 5,000 allied troops. Roughly 45,000 men gone before dawn. As the Spartans advanced north, Mardonius was already planning his trap. Every move he made was calculated, not a whim. Forget the myth of Persian slave hordes. The army left behind was elite, immortals, cavalry, and veterans trained for speed and maneuver. Mardonius relied not on numbers, but on terrain. He destroyed Athens completely and withdrew into Boeotia, camping near the Asopus River. Flat ground favored cavalry. A massive fortified stockade rose. From the plain, a city of war in the open. This wasn't retreat. It was a trap. Mardonius observed from a hill, soldiers preparing around him. From Mount Cithaeron, Pausanias saw the Persian army, tents stretching endlessly, armor flashing in the sun, cavalry grazing. He refused to descend. The standoff began. Days passed. Mardonius grew impatient and sent his cavalry commander, Mecistius, to provoke the Greeks. Arrows rained down, threatening the Megarians. Pausanias called for volunteers to face the onslaught. 300 Athenians stepped forward bravely, rushing toward Mecistius' cavalry. Mecistius was thrown from his golden-bridled horse. His armor was impenetrable until a spear drove through his eye slit. He fell. First blood belonged to Greece. By midsummer, the Boeotian plain was merciless. Heat and thirst gnawed at the Greeks more than any sword. Soldiers faltered, water ran out, morale crumbling. Desperate, the Greeks moved toward the Gargaphia spring, hoping for water. Mardonius reacted immediately, sending cavalry to strike supply lines and ambush every wagon. For over a week, the Persians constricted the Greeks like a vice. Hunger gnawed at men, and arrows never ceased falling. By the 11th day, the spring itself was destroyed. The Greeks' last source of water vanished. Trapped, surrounded, and parched, Pausanias ordered a night retreat. Silent coordination was essential in the darkness, but confusion spread instantly. Half the army panicked, fleeing blindly into the night. chaos consumed the plain. Amampharitos, a Spartan captain, refused to run. Pride and discipline held him firm as others fled. Shouts erupted in the darkness. Officers tried to command, but the army's cohesion had dissolved. At dawn, the Greek forces lay scattered and exhausted. Persian scouts watched silently from surrounding hills. Mardonius saw disarray and misread it as victory. Confident, he ordered his forces to attack immediately. The Persian lines surged just as the Spartans were still aligning, their formation incomplete and vulnerable. Arrows tore through the air, relentless and precise. Amid the chaos, Pausanias knelt and offered sacrifices, seeking the gods' favor. When signs finally aligned, Pausanias rose, spear in hand, signaling the Spartan line to advance. The Spartans surged forward, their shields smashing into Persian wicker defenses. Spears shattered, bodies pressed together, the ophismos began. The clash was brutal. Momentum and physics decided the outcome. Spartans pressed forward, unstoppable. At the center, Mardonius rode his white horse, desperately trying to hold the line as Spartan focus closed in. Step by step, the Spartans closed the distance. Aristonastos drove a spear into Mardonius, and he fell. With their commander gone, Persian formations unraveled. Panic spread like fire. Artabazus, commanding 40,000 men, chose retreat. Others trapped themselves in the stockade, sealing their fate. When Athenians breached the stockade, what followed was not battle, it was systematic slaughter. No mercy, no quarter. Plataea ended Persia's threat, but the field told a different story, one of ruin and exhaustion. Pausanias, once hailed as a hero, was corrupted by ambition, conspiring with Persians and Helots. When his schemes were exposed, he fled for sanctuary. The Spartans closed the temple doors, sealing him inside. His own mother laid the first stone. Starvation became his punishment. The once celebrated commander now a prisoner of his own hubris. Plataea's victory is rarely honored. The cost was too human, too raw. Thermopylae is remembered for youthful heroism. Plataea is remembered for survival that carried a bitter weight. The battle was salvation, not a symbol. Survival demanded brutality. 10,000 Greeks shattered a superpower. The victory was necessary, but it left its mark in blood and smoke. Remember more than the legendary 300. Remember the army that endured, suffered, and fought to the last. Remember the cost of triumph, the vengeance, the blood, and the lives it consumed. History ends here. No more armies. No more names carved into stone. Only silence after the killing. We like stories where heroes die clean. But history doesn't work that way. Survivors carry the weight. Plataea reminds us of something uncomfortable. Victory doesn't make you pure. It only proves what you were willing to do. If this story stayed with you, then you're not just watching history, you're thinking about it. This is history's monsters. We don't look away from the price of survival.